I told you last week, Deshaun Watson needs help, bro.
We know that, but we need to get to the real conversation. So we gonna do that tonight. We don't do it before because I know what's coming. I know what's about to be said. I anticipated all this, but tonight we're gonna get to it, and we're gonna have some meetings where we're gonna see where everybody at tonight. I hope everybody's ready.
Baker.
We gonna see. Look. We gonna see what you say. You really believe, and if you're really gonna be honest about it tonight, we're gonna find out.
Let's get it going, baby.
Get it going. Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show with the Goon Squad. It's Black Pearl, Icewater, and Puma. We're going to go straight to the NBA Finals. And Black, we talked a little bit offline. I know Boston's been doing this for years, but they finally got caught. They raised the hoop on the Golden State side about 2 inches. And they kind of thought that Steph and Clay wouldn't really figure this out, but the players kept saying something wrong with this hoop. They measured it, and sure enough, the people at Boston, they've been doing this for years. You remember those blowout games? And so I don't know why I actually looking so surprised. They've been doing this for years. And this is not the only thing that they would do at the Boston Garden. But like you said earlier, something about these East Coast teams, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. What do you think about the finals so far, sir?
Oh, I think the finals, for the most part, it's kind of what we kind of I figured would be. I'm a little disappointed in Boston because it seemed like, but they've been doing this the whole playoff run. They played good for a game, and then some of the other players just disappeared. I mean, I like what they did in game 2. They was in it, even though when they were down in game 2, they was playing their game. They was out there playing, they're making adjustments. And you saw Boston as a team. You said, okay, yeah, they can win this. You come back in game 2, you put together one first good quarter, and I don't know if it's Draymond was punking them, they got scared, but the second quarter, they turned into the old Boston Celtics of just giving the ball up, being timid, not really going through, not going through things. And for the life of me, to me, I know the refs kind of basically helped out Golden State by not throwing Draymond out. Draymond should have been thrown out that game 2 or 3 times. Now I'm thinking this as a Boston Celtic, person. Okay, I'm going to force the ref to throw his ass out because they won't do it. Bro, you got somebody on the bench. I'm just being honest, because this would happen in the old days. You went to somebody on the bench that's not playing, went out there and just got after him and forced him to do something stupid. He's out of the game. Because the way he clowned the referees and the way he clowned Boston, to me, was just absolutely ridiculous. He should have been thrown out. He should have been thrown out against Tatum. He should have been thrown out definitely against the other guard. It just made no sense. When he had one tech, but you're going to let him play the whole season with one tech? You got to get him out if he's acting buffoonish. But to me, even the way Al Horford was playing, he started the game that week, kind of that way, timid. The whole team, to me, after the first quarter, just went timid, started making a lot of mistakes. And I think the best thing the coach did, he could have pulled him out sooner. When they made that 3-point shot going in towards I think it was the end of the third quarter, it was a done deal, bro. You're not coming back. Pull them out, get their heads safe for the next game. Now, to me, this stuff about the hoops, the old Celtics have been doing stuff like this for years. I kind of thought that may be passed on. I didn't know that, Red Auerbach is still walking around smoking a cigar at the Boston Garden, but I guess so. To me, on the offensive side, I'll say this, I'll get this out the way. I am impressed with Stephen Curry because he kind of faded away in game 1 towards the end. But something I didn't notice about him that I'm kind of picking up on these playoffs, Stephen Curry's starting to play some defense. Now, it's not great defense, but you're basically not going by him. He's kind of posting up a little bit. If you're going for a jump shot, he's in your space. So he has worked on that part of his game. And I think he's aware that he wants this one because he wants to prove to people that he can win it without Kevin Durant. He wants to go that echelon. I think he's tired of people saying that, and most times when they won, he wasn't a big part of it. I think he's heard all that noise, and I think he's out to try to get it done. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to. Tonight's game in Boston, to me, is crucial. Game 3 is crucial. Boston lose this one, I think the series is over. But if they can take this one, I think they got a good shot.
I remember you saying something before the series started. You said you're waiting for Clay and Steph to get hot because they haven't gotten hot yet. You're saying that Clay is kind of, in a slump, but I don't think he's going to be in a slump for long. Your thoughts on the finals, man?
Yeah, on that point, you mentioned when you watch them play, particularly in the playoffs in the past, they're a different team because, you come off injuries and whatnot, but they usually get hot. And the question is, can you handle them being hot? I mean, Steph Curry went off the first game where he had like 20 plus points in the first half. You thought the game was a wrap, thought it was done, but they didn't finish it. He got hot in the second half in the second game and they were rolling. So if Golden State had stepped up in game one, it could be 2-0, right? But then again, it could say the same thing about Boston, right? So it's back and forth, back and forth. But to the point is that these guys are shooters. And for some reason or another, I don't know what's going on with Klay Thompson. He's second guessing his shot. He's not really looking for it automatically, or he's taking some bad shots too because he's not clicking. The one thing I noticed was he missed a few, and I'm like, dude, go to the rack now. See, that's the only thing that people say, well, shooters just keep shooting. Yeah, but if you're not making the shot, do something else to make a play, bro. It might be somebody else's night. And I know that's what they pay you for. But anyway, I ain't going to say what I was going to say because y'all going to get mad. But y'all know one situation that y'all know about very well. People keep shooting.
Oh, here we go.
People keep shooting. And in the end, you're going like, why'd you stop? Seriously, why'd you stop? If it wasn't working tonight, you were $1 million basketball player. Maybe somebody else's night. But anyway, like I said, I wasn't going to say that. But it's just to the point that as a basketball player, you got to realize when you're not on, right? If you get on, that's great, but you might be taking somebody else's movement. But what I find interesting is they're going back and forth. One group makes turnovers. Golden State is not they're not playing as well as we thought they would for the veteran leadership. Boston has a lot of talent. They play real hard. They found ways out of Boston, that is, out of holes and finding ways out of situations that you just don't know why, but they've done it throughout the playoffs, right? Came back, they beat Brooklyn. They beat Brooklyn up, found a way against Milwaukee, right? Found a way as you move forward with Miami, and now here they are. So they always find ways, but the question is, are they going to be able to get this done against Golden State? When you look at this game 3, 39 times in the NBA Finals, the series has been tied 1-1, right? And the team that has won game 3 went on to win the finals 83% of the time. So that's game 3 is very key tonight if you look at, stats to that effect. Also, too, in the playoffs, Boston has not lost 2 in a row. So what does that mean? It still can be open because Golden State has the ability to do that. But the other part, too, is that Boston struggles at home.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of, and we're just throwing things out there to get the folks to think about it. Boston struggles at home. But the one thing they do well is they come back strong after a loss. Usually play well after a loss, but in these playoffs, they are 3-4 at home in the past 2 rounds in the playoffs. So, man, it's wide open. Anything can happen. If Klay Thompson goes off, somebody get hot that way. But the bench players for Boston are going to have to rise up and really give them something, kind of like what Golden State's players did for them at home. They're going to need to make that happen because it's so up and down. You don't know what's going to happen. And it's interesting. I like it. It's a big chess match because at first coming in, I thought Golden State would use their experience and kind of run through them a little bit. But Boston's like, man, we're not giving up. We're going to fight to the end. And I think that's what's making more of an intriguing series. So I'm looking forward to game 3. We don't know what's going to happen. And y'all talking about Draymond Green, man. Look, that Draymond Green situation, the referees now, here's what they do. They say, okay, well, he has a flagrant 1 or whatever. And then they say, how bad was that? Well, it really wasn't that bad. Do we want to throw him out? And what does he mean to the game? Real talk, I'm saying. And you might be like, oh, nah. But I mean, they really look at it as, is it warranted really throwing him out the game? Because we know how that would affect their team. And you guys mentioned about having to go down the bench and looking for somebody to rile him up and get him, man, see, that's what's different between basketball now and basketball back in the day. You didn't have to ask nobody. You didn't have to ask nobody. It was already known. Boston had a guy that was clearly known for that. ML Carr.
Yeah.
He had, you look at ML Carr, he was waving that towel, he might score a point, he might block a shot, then he do all that. But his job at some point was to get in your head and just make you miserable. And you didn't have to go like, well, ML, we're kind of looking at the situation to see if you might be ready to step up and kind of confuse somebody or cause a little confusion tonight. ML was like, any guy say nothing.
Yeah. Coach,
Check it. Yeah, you knew it. You had to. Now you got to explain. You got to, well, anybody want to volunteer? Dude, hell nah. Back in the day, brother.
I miss those days.
The Maurice Lucas is out of the day, man. Like, what you say? I'm out. That's how it was. You had goons, like the Goon Squad. Anyway, you had goons, guys that came in and they handled their business. And then you didn't see them for the next game. But what was the pivotal game in the series? Is when such and such slapped the hell out of such and such. He was never the same. And they won the championship.
It reminds me of when the Sixers were against Portland. And then Maurice Lucas had to fight with, well, it wasn't really a fight because you had Daryl Dawkins kind of, doing all this and all that. And that changed the series. Philly was up 2-0, and then they lost the next 4. And it just changed momentum. It happened when Draymond Green against Cleveland, when he was kicked out of the game. It changed that whole series where Cleveland won that series. I felt that it wasn't warranted to suspend it for one game that time. But yeah, he's pushing the envelope this time. He's pushing the envelope.
He is, but let's be real about that LeBron situation. Everybody play basketball, play sports.
Yeah.
If a man specifically, intentionally walks over you and put his little in front of your face, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
That's totally different. And you're like, well, he didn't really. Yeah, he did. Because you took that you 6'9", bro. You take that step deliberately. Any real man would have been like, hey, you want to do that? Here, we got a little something for you. But like you said, these enforcers, man, back in the day, you didn't have to worry about it. They just did it. They made things happen. Also, too, you mentioned about that Portland-Philadelphia series. There's also the rumors that when Maurice Lucas was so mad that he went to the locker room and pulled the commode out the wall. So that was going a long thing, too. So, strange, wild, crazy things get people shook. So that's what Draymond Green did to kind of balance it. Guys got fired up. You might see something crazy like that in Boston, but he does it too far, they'll throw his ass out.
Yeah. 2 stories real quick I wanted to jump on. Pat Riley, his thoughts on the Heat, saying, hey, if we can't win a championship with this team, we need to dismantle it right away and get to a team that we can win with. And then Utah wanted to keep Quinn Snyder. But I've been saying for a couple of years, Quinn Snyder is not the coach for the Utah Jazz. It seems like the Utah Jazz are finally getting to the point where they have to dismantle their team to make it to the next step. I'll stay with you, Ice, and then go with Black on these 2 stories.
Yeah, when you look at Miami, I mean, everybody knows Pat Riley's a great mind. He wants to get things done. Who says, well, maybe we might try to stay status quo. If he knows he needs to shake it up, they've been together for a minute now. He knows Jimmy Butler's his guy, right? He knows that. And remember, back when they had Shaq and Dwayne Wade, and they were struggling. And he went out and made that crazy, I think it was a 5-team, 13-player deal, right? You brought in Antoine, and was Walker, Antoine Walker.
Yeah.
They got acquired Antoine Walker. They got Jason Williams from Sacramento. And they made some other trades, but they made moves and it really gave and infused some energy into what they had to do. This particular team, I know they desperately want to bring back PJ Tucker because they thought he was solid, and I think that's good for them. But I think they would look and it'd be hard as hell because I don't think this team will do it. I don't think Utah will walk away from Mitchell, right? I don't think they will. But if they are willing to listen, that's something Miami would do. And the reason why they would do it is because you got guys like Tyler Hero and you got Duncan Robinson over there that were really good their first years because they didn't have film on them. Now they're catching up to them. And then, of course, too, you got to play defense now. Pat Riley even said that. But if you throw a Tyler Hero and a number 1 pick in there, you might get some noise about a Donovan Mitchell if they are thinking about that. And what Donovan Mitchell does at 25 years old, he can score the ball. May not be the greatest defender, but he's that initial scoring with Jimmy Butler. You keep Bam, keep some other pieces going around, and add some other, maybe 1 or 2 veterans. It just adds straight offense. A guy that's hungry, never been even tasted the finals. he gonna give you all he got. Kind of like that dude, Anthony something, played for the Lakers. Then when he that big fella that came in and was hungry, and he finally got his championship. You know, I see Mitchell doing the same thing. So if they do it, it'll be a splash. I think Utah is a little scared right now. They want to build around Mitchell, so I think it would take a lot to get it. I don't think it'd happen, but I think that'd be perfect for Miami, and you build around it from there.
Black, I'm looking at Utah and I'm looking at Miami. I don't know if they would even make that exchange with Mitchell, but it just seems like I agree with Pat Riley. If you can't win with this team, there's no sense in holding on to this team. And you mentioned something about Laurie. I never understand getting Laurie and paying him that much money. I don't think he's one of the elite point guards in the league. And then Utah with Quinn Snyder finally saying, you know, I need to step down. Something needs to change, and maybe it's me.
Well, I'm gonna go to Quinn first. I never understood how he got the job, bro. I'll be honest with you. I just never did. I didn't. He came from college. I think it was in Missouri. He came from. I didn't understand that hire from the start.
Duke.
Was it?
He used to play for Duke, and then he did coach at Missouri, I believe.
Yeah, and that's probably why he probably got the job, because he was associated with Coach K. I never understood him as a head coach. I just never did. I didn't think much of him as a head coach. Pat Riley is going to blow that team up. He's talking about it's going to happen. He's not waiting, because Pat Riley, he's 77 years old, bro. He ain't sitting around much longer trying to buy time. So I believe it's going to happen. As I was saying earlier, I don't think there's much room. I don't think they have a lot of those players under contract. Duncan's, the other one's under contract. Hero's under contract. And as you stated and you said, they got to play defense. If you ain't playing defense, you're not going to be on the Miami Heat. And so I'm surprised they last that long. So they're probably going to be looking to move them. But I can't see Utah right now letting that player go. That player seemed like he was happy the coach is gone. I don't think he's going to sit around. I think he likes it out there. I think he's just basically, he realized he's a big fish in Utah. They cater to him. You go to Miami, it's not going to be that, bro. And let's not forget, that rascal doesn't play defense either. So if you're swapping him for, you're going to get some scoring, that you're going to get, but you're not going to get the typical player that the Miami Heat like to kind of have for their core player in that sense. He will bring some scoring, but I don't think he wants to go there. I just don't. I think he's happy where he is. I think he's glad now the coach is gone. I think he's going to sit tight, because I think ownership will probably spoke to him, make him feel like, you know what, we're going to build around you. So for him, I don't think he's desperate right now in his career. He's hungry in his career where it has to be championship or bust. He's making good money. He's comfortable. As long as he can get the ball fed to him, I think he's going to stay right there in Utah.
Okay. Let's go to some of the top headlines. We talked about this last week, and I knew the number was going to jump up, but I didn't know it was going to jump up to 66 with Deshaun Watson. I keep trying to send a message to Baker Mayfield. Hang on there. You may be the starter anyway. But I said last week, and you can check last week's show, that Deshaun Watson needs a lot of help. And you can't help him by putting a football in his hand, Black. You just can't help him doing this. So it seems like the NFL did not do an investigation or a thorough investigation and let this go by. And they seem to be on the wrong side of a lot of stuff all the time. And it's very apparent that the NFL just don't give a damn.
Well, I mean, we know that, but I'm going to say this. And, you know, you're right. That number 66, when I read that, I was like, damn, bro. I mean, and I don't even understand. I mean, we all have our quirks or whatever. I don't understand that the theory with massage therapists. I don't even, 66 of them, I mean, the theory, bro. You're supposed to buy yourself an escort. I mean, I'll shake your hand if you bought 66 escorts, but the therapy part, I don't know. I just don't totally get it. But I will say this. Here's the thing, as bad as that sound, as bad as it is, he's not charged with a crime. It's not charged with a crime. So my point is, you can't basically, we can say the NFL, whatever the case may be, if the man hasn't gone to jail, has been charged with a crime, he has a right to make a living. His living is throwing a damn football, bro. And he throws it quite well. So my point is, you're expecting Cleveland to go, okay, yeah, you know, he has a sexual problem. Let's just face it, he does. This players right now in the Cleveland Browns probably got alcohol problems, drug problems, but they're not breaking the law. So basically, you're saying, here's a man that can elevate our franchise, maybe put a ring on our finger. He likes to jerk off to women that he pays to rub him up and down. Just being quite honest, but he hasn't broken the law. So yeah, he may get suspended, But why should we necessarily, and I know people don't want to hear it, but why should he lose his basically a way of making a living? He's not working at a Walmart, bro. He's a quarterback. Now, if he wasn't a good quarterback, I guarantee you, if he wasn't that good, he wouldn't have that contract. But you can't tell me the owner of, I think his name is Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, he done lived through bad quarterbacks, bro, bad teams, a coach that couldn't win in 2 years, that choose him basically trying to basically take the team. And then here comes, this cat walks through the door, basically saying, you know what, I can help your team. And they're thinking he's looking to his general manager, his coaches. Yeah, if we get him in, we have this. They already know what type of team they have. You put him out there, and once he gets past, because I'm thinking the NFL's probably going to give him 6 to 8 weeks. I think it's going to be 8. They're going to give him 8 weeks. But after that, you have a quarterback for the next 4 to 5 years where you're in contention. You are competing, you're ready to go. So at the end of the day, and I get it. I know people are going to be outraged and all this stuff, but I'm going to say this, and this to me was totally different, but he came back and someone gave him a chance. What Michael Vick did to dogs is much worse, bro. I know we don't want to hear it. It's much worse. Michael Vick came back and was able to play in the NFL. He went to prison. Think about this. He went to prison. This cat is down there throwing a football in Bahamas and everything else, playing around. And he, it's crazy. I think he handled this he should have got rid of this a long time ago. Pay what you had to pay, get done, make them sign off, not say anything, because you're dead wrong. He's dead wrong. I'm not giving him a cop-out on it. But at the end of the day, what the NFL is going to look at, did the man break a crime? Did he commit a crime? So you cannot basically take away his way of living. If you went out right now, and we did something, our jobs look at us, okay, is it worthy if I'm still working here? They make that decision, go, yes, we got to go back to work because we got to eat. We have to put a roof over our head. Only thing that's different between him and I is the fact that he's making $230 million guaranteed to do it, and I'm not, and I haven't broken any law either. So it comes down to that, bro. When it comes down to it, all that sounds great. But the NFL cares about one thing. Did you break a law? Did you dirty up the shield? No, he solid the shield up something. Michael said he didn't. I'll take care of that. But at the end of the day, when he's out there throwing that football, let's say week 10, week 12, it's cold. You're drinking some Coronas. You got your chips. You got your wings. You ain't thinking about him jerking off, bro. You're not going to be thinking about him jerking off when he's going to touch. I'm telling you the truth.
Well, I ain't thinking about it now, but I get it. What are your thoughts about this, man?
Man, Black Door, I'm glad you set the table, baby. I appreciate you. I didn't know which way you was coming, but I'm glad you set the table because I'm about to serve the dinner. Here we go. So I agree with what Black Door said, definitely about the point of people think it's disgusting. He definitely has a problem. He needs therapy. He needs help. And I've said it to you since day one. When we mentioned about all these women and these charges, I said the NFL is waiting to see if he has committed a crime. When he didn't commit a crime, where they said that he was cleared of the crime, right? Not being freaky. Everybody got a little freaky in him. I've been telling you that for a long time. Not being freaky, but committing a crime. Then the NFL said, well, now we're going to negotiate. We're going to let you get traded. We're going to move forward, whatever. Now we're hearing all of these other numbers and people like, oh my God, I can't, it was 20, it was 10, then it was 22, and now it's 66. Okay. But here's the thing that I find ironic, because when you get deep into it, this is a deeper problem that the NFL probably don't want nobody looking into. So let's get to it. Here's the thing. Let's do the numbers. 22 women, 23, 24, you do the math, all right? Now with lawsuits. If it was 66 women, right? They're saying that he was offering $100,000 to each woman to be quiet. Then comes in the favorite word of the night, non-disclosure agreement, NDA. So 66 women, 22 or 24, let's say 22 came forward. That means 44 women signed an NDA at $100,000 a pop. Because if it was 66, why didn't the other 44 come forward? They got to check. I mean, maybe I'm reaching, I'm allegedly, but if I know what I know, why wouldn't I want to jump and get that money too? or I took money before. That's 66. The other thing too is from the standpoint of now we're finding out that everybody said Deshaun Watson was calling all these women, making all these phone calls. No, one of the young ladies said there was a lady that was in an office that was in charge of whatever massage therapy or whatever they were doing, and she was setting up a lot of these appointments for him, bruh. So she was using some of the women that she knew. Say, you want to make some money?
Wow.
That's Deshaun Watson over here. So truth be told, now we're finding out that she said the boss, AKA now, and I'm gonna keep this 100 with y'all, be mad at me, I'm cool, send me comments, letters, criticisms, whatever. Well, here we go. Could be considered more or less a madam, bruh.
PIMP.
You know what I'm saying? So look, and also when you move forward with that, so that way the lady's like, well, he, would do certain things, but no one ever said he forced him to do anything. He kind of suggested, he opened himself, exposed himself, but nothing where you go, he like made me do this. No. And also too, the other part that we were looking at, we said it before, some of these women went back for repeats, bruh. 1, 1, 2. When you go back after the first time, people gonna look at you kind of crazy. So let's get back to the madam. So look at that 66 women or whatever. So now let's go to the Houston Texans very quickly. The Houston Texans security are the ones that gave Deshaun Watson the NDA. So yeah, they gave him the NDA. He didn't come up, his lawyer, like his magically delicious, came up with an NDA. The Houston Texans security allegedly gave him the NDA. So he started going out doing his thing, and he's passing out the NDAs. You say something, I'm gonna drop you $100,000. Here you go. Not only that, it appears that the Houston security team or Houston Texans, whoever, allegedly had him set up in a room at the Houstonian Club and Spa when he was doing this thing. So we got a room, we got an NDA, and we got a madam. And now it's all Deshaun, and you know he got a problem. So how long have you known that he had this problem? And he's not playing all last year, but he's gonna need massage therapy, correct? I'm just saying. So let's look at it. Now, if the madam is doing this in Houston, is that the only team that she hooking up? Because some other players might need some therapy too. Okay? And this is real money. So as I finalize this and put this notch on this soliloquy, let's do the math real quick. Let's say there were 44 women and he paid them $100,000, 4.4 million, right? If it was 66 women, it'd be 6.6 million, right? If it was 100 people, that's 100 million, 10 million, 10 million. Okay, it's contract for 230 million guaranteed. I'm gonna leave y'all with this as I drop the mic. I'm gonna drop my remote that y'all see it right here. His signing bonus this year was $44 million. He could have paid off 100 women for $100,000 at 10 million with his signing bonus. Y'all have a good evening.
My question is was Rick Pitino brought up in this? I'm just kidding. Shout out to my boy Rick Pitino. But it sounds like if the Houston Texans were involved, you got a madam involved, you got all these people involved. Wow.
But I want to say this real quick. Why would the Houston Texans be involved, bro? Think about that for a second. Because all they want, and this is the same thing Cleveland want, show up on Sunday, baby. That's all they want. I mean, at the end of the day, when you think about this, and I said this for years, and it's totally two different vegetables or fruits. Michael Irvin went to jail if it wasn't for Jerry Jones, bro.
Yeah.
We went to jail. It wasn't for Jerry Jones.
Roethlisberger should have been in jail.
Yes. So you can't tell me these owners don't have influence. They don't step in sometime. As long as they're there on Sunday, that's what they're talking. That's what I'm talking about. The Cowboys would not be what the Cowboys are today if Michael Irvin wasn't a playmaker, was allowed to be the playmaker. It is what it is. It is. So you can't tell me Cleveland ain't looking at him. That 230 he got, they probably got side money side. We'll take care of your civil. Why they? You know what? Because remember when Deshaun Johnson was doing his Watson was doing his travel around. Cleveland wasn't even on the radar, bro. He went to other teams. It was like Cleveland came with such a great deal. Not only money, I'm sure. We'll do this. We'll take care of this. We know you can't play. And it's like, hey, they got running backs here. I'm just saying it, bro. I'm just saying. It's amazing, bro. It's amazing. But money talks, and at the end of the day, we watch it. We love the game. We grew up as kids wanting to play the game. It's bigger than a game, bro. It's big business. He's part of big business that can make big dollars. That's what it is at the end of the day. So when we think that they should care and they this and that, and we always sit around wait for the NFL to care, they don't care. When you could sell the Denver Broncos, get this straight, bro. You had two people competing to get the team for the Denver Broncos. Two. The guy, remember the cat that gave the money to the kids to go pay their colleges off a year ago, the brother? He was up running for two. The Walmart, $4.6 billion. Think about that for a second. Walmart ain't trying to buy that team because they just want to own it. They want to own it. The money they're going to make from it, bro. $4.6 billion. And they're looking to make a profit.
And you just segue right into the next story. What does this mean for John Elway, Black? The Denver Broncos being bought by Walmart.
Bro, I read a story yesterday, and it was so funny. Ironic. I don't know if you came across this. His last year of playing, the owner, Pat Bolden, offered him 20% stake of the team. 20%. Did you hear about that?
That hurt. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
They offered him 20% of the team, and John turned it down. Don't get me wrong, John wanted to be a successful business. He wanted a contract like Barry Bonilla, and I'll take that. They said the sale of a loan would have gave him damn near $1 billion, $800 million. He turned it down. So him being that Judo brand, they're gonna kick his ass out there so fast. Drunken ass coming out here, allegedly being drunken ass. Let me say that.
I'm glad you put the allegedly. You usually put the allegedly in front of anything.
That's a homeboy killed because he showed up to a meeting intoxicated. But yes, think about that for a second. He offered you 20, and only other people that had stake in that team at that time was his family. 20% of a National Football League team. Oh no, that's okay. I'm John Elway. Okay.
Oh man, he could have retired.
That hurts.
Yeah, that hurts bad. Ice, Denver Broncos. What's going to happen to John Elway?
Well, he should probably be looking for other sources of employment, unless they can get hot right away, right? I mean, you never know. You might have a conversation because he is John Elway. You might have a conversation where he can stay on and they get hot first of all. But taking into consideration that the Walton family / Penner Group also owns the Colorado Avalanche in hockey. They own the Denver Nuggets. Yeah. They own the Colorado Rapids. And one of the ladies is a chairman of the board of Starbucks and also a director at JP Morgan Chase.
Yeah.
Who's part of the ownership group. They got crazy money, crazy dollars. Walmart is now going to be taken over. And of course, ironically, that they got Russell Wilson now. Man, Russell Wilson gonna be so many damn Walmart commercials. him and Lil Future, and everybody gonna be clothes, do picnic sales, everything. Man, look, I'm just saying, they know what they were doing. They did it at the right time. You got one of the premier quarterbacks coming in as well. It's perfect for him. John Elway should just be like the NCAA in football right now. Just start begging and say, I just want to know how to be part of the team. When something pass you by, you like, I just want to know whatever you need me to do. I'll be right here just to learn how to play. I'll be on the team. Because that's what it is. This is power brokers, man. Think about it. They know what they're doing. They brought in some top-notch minds, and now they're ready to move forward. They're going to find a way to be competitive, even if they have to buy it. Buy their way onto the scene. They started with Russell Wilson, and they will continue to move forward. Mark that down. They got so much damn money, they're gonna find a way. Need to go down there and talk to Jerry Jones about that. Anyway, but we're moving forward.
What I'm not looking forward to seeing all Denver Bronco paraphernalia in every Walmart around the United States. That's what I'm not looking forward to seeing.
The Portland Trailblazers are for sale.
Yes.
And there are two ladies looking to buy it. I think one is the ex-wife of the guy that owns Amazon. And there's another one, yeah, they're looking to purchase it, bro.
I thought the guy from Phil Nike was looking to buy that
He
too.
turned it down.
Oh wow. Okay.
They turned him down. He got
Wow.
rejected. Early part of this week or end of last year, they turned him down. Don't be surprised. One of them are owners, and if they do, if they're acquired, it's come problem. You're gonna see what's name won't be head coach that long. I think
Yeah.
you're gonna see a woman be the head coach of that team, bro.
Here we
It's
go.
coming.
Here
I'm
we
just gonna say
go.
it right now.
Here we
You better
go.
enjoy these days.
Watch your back, Chauncey. Watch your back. The Major League Baseball report with Ice Water. Joe Madden's gone. Girardi, you picked it out last week. Girardi's gone from the Philadelphia Phillies. Who's next, Ice? Who is next?
Man, you just get all kind of different things where you just kind of say to yourself, I don't know. I mean, you looked at the Phillies, right? But the problem with the Phillies is the Phillies were trying to move forward. They had some things where they were saying to themselves, damn, you've been here 3 years, Girardi. We've been below 500 the first 2 years. We spent a lot of money, right? They had, what was their salary was at $233 million salary roster. And salary roster, and that was the fourth highest in the major leagues. So they had to do something. So they had to let him go and move forward. I'm just surprised they did it so early. It's just very interesting. And there's still somehow another in third place at this point.
Yeah.
Madden, what's crazy to me is Madden's still a great manager. It's just that I think they panicked because I think the Angels this is their first year general manager. And he started making moves like he let Albert Pujols go. He let Upton go. And then it was like 2 weeks ago, they were 10 games above 500 and they lose 12 straight.
Yeah.
So somebody panicked, and that's how it was. Anyway, do the standings real quick. AL East, Yankees up by 7 games on Toronto, 8 on Tampa. AL West, Houston leads that division over the Angels by 9.5 games, even though they made manager change. Also in the AL Central, Minnesota is in first place. They lead the White Sox by 4 games. Cleveland is making a run. They're only 4 games back. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Moving on to the NL East, the New York Mets are in first place. Atlanta trails by 8 games in second place. The Philadelphia Phillies, getting rid of Joe Girardi, are 10.5 games back. NL Central, Milwaukee is up in that division. St. Louis is a half a game back, so they're making moves as well. And finally, in the NL West, Dodgers continue to lead that division, but only by 1.5 games over San Diego. And that little team I mentioned, that little engine that could in San Francisco is still moving forward, only 5.5 back. Watch them very closely. It's getting really interesting right now, getting tight. I just wish the Cincinnati Reds had some more players. They got 2 damn good pitchers right now, young pitchers, Hunter Green, and I can't think of the other young man's name, doing real well, but they can't get the production to help them move forward. Hopefully they won't trade them away and let them kind of grow into their team, but that's how we're looking at it. But things are still moving ahead, moving forward, have some good baseball. Yankees still doing what the Yankees do, still hitting on trash cans. Anyway, I say that, but they still winning, so they're still in first place.
And Judge is trying to play for that contract. He's playing better than I ever seen him play ever. Black, we're going to the WNBA report. The Las Vegas Aces are still rolling, but the Connecticut Sun is right behind them. They're not giving any room for any slip-ups. They're right behind them. But Derek Fisher gets fired from the Sparks, and I think you predicted that earlier this season.
Oh, absolutely, man. We saw that coming. I mean, this guy came in. Sometimes I'm not a person that speaks of karma and all that other stuff, but things do happen on some of the bad choices and things that you do. And just the way he handled Candace Parker when he came in, I think was wrong. Just the way he came in, basically, if you don't, like she said, if you don't want me here anymore, tell her, let her go. But to basically go to a playoff where she kind of puts that team in that year into the playoffs and to sit her on the bench and make her watch like she can't get out there and play better than what you have out there was disrespectful, bro. And then for her to go on the following year to a new team and win the finals, come on, bro. I mean, I think right there when that happened that night, LA Sparks was thinking, I'm being honest. At what point they started thinking about Derek Fisher? Then you come back this year, and the team is not really buying into what you're doing. You as a coach, come on. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. I mean, his time was basically being counted down. It was like air coming out of a balloon, and they decided to kind of let him go. LA's had some problems. Sparks had some problems over here because a couple of years ago, well, about a year and a half ago, the general manager was saying some inappropriate things to let them go. So they really need to kind of step back and kind of get a solid footing and make some changes and kind of move forward. It finally happened, man. Donna Taurasi got thrown out of a game, and I think we're going to see more of that.
No,
yeah, she got thrown out of a game about a little less than a week ago.
Yeah.
She got thrown out of the game for not just being Donna Taurasi. And we talked about Draymond Green. She's another Draymond Green in a sense where they've been afraid to kind of basically do what they need to do with Donna Taurasi. Remember last year in the playoffs, she actually pushed the referee, put her hand on her with two hands, and shoved her. I don't know what more you need to do to get thrown out of a game or miss a game. And they act like it wasn't there. I think that the time has changed and it's turned a little bit. She's going to be handled it properly. It's funny now because she was acting like it was no big deal what she did. Shouldn't have kind of basically brought her being thrown out of the game. But I think the refs now in the league itself is saying, we're no longer tolerating you. You've basically been getting away with this for a long period of time. We're going to step up. One team you might have mentioned, may not mention, man, Chicago Sky is starting to come around too, man. They're number 3. They're basically starting to look like they did last year. They're starting to maybe poise themselves for another run. Who knows? But again, the Aces and the Sun. Aces ain't no joke, bro. I mean, they got rid of, I hate to say this, but Liz Cabbage not being there, I think it allowed that offense to kind of grow some more. And what Becky Hammond is bringing to that team, man, she's bringing that Spurs mentality. Obviously, they bought into it, and things are rolling very strong for them. Brianna Stewart was away for a while and, due to injuries, but she's back now. Believe it or not, she's leading the league in scoring, followed by Kelly Plum. So it's starting to kind of wind up a little bit. They're thinking about the All-Star game, and they got some things going on. They're really focusing on, which is interesting. They're speaking on a lot about Brittany Griner. Some of the players are actually emailing her, in contact with her through email that she's in Russia. So they're dealing with that. And I think that's part of the problem, too, with the Phoenix Mercury. You lose someone like Brittany Griner, it's got to affect the team and the mentality, too, that she's not there, why she's not there. I think that's part of the reason why they kind of have a real rough season. I don't think it's going to turn around for them at all either.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this because me and Ice talked about this a little bit last week, is that with Diana Taurasi, it's almost like I was really disappointed in the response from the coach, who was like, she should get preferential treatment because she's a superstar in this league. And we've seen that in the NBA and how it kind of ruined the NBA, where certain players get calls, they get to do a lot more things. Now we see it in the WNBA. And instead of getting on a player like, she should, be more of a professional, things of that sort, she was like, no, the refs need to, give her preferential treatment because, she's a legend in this league. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't buy that. I think that's the worst thing a head coach can say, but that's somebody that's basically, looking up to Diana Taurasi. I think it does the game wrong when you basically have the referees afraid to basically do their job, no matter who they're doing the job against. When the ref is out there paid, they're not making, and WM is a little different, but in general, the referee is not making what these players are making, the abuse that they have to take. And guess what? They're going to get some calls incorrect. It's going to happen. I mean, in any league, no matter high school, whatever, refs are imperfect. But guess what? When you learn to play through that and you keep going, I look at a lot of these players. Every time a player's called or they don't get a foul, they miss a shot, go play the game. It's getting sickening at some point. Every time you go down and do a layup, if you miss it, then you're looking around for a whistle. No, so her saying that to me, I thought was one of the worst things she could say. Diana Taurasi's been getting away with a lot of stuff, bro. A lot, because she is a superstar and she believes that she's entitled to it. No, I'm glad that the refs finally stood up to her, and I think it's more to come. I think the league wants it, and I think it's more to come. I don't think she's going to kind of get out of this because they're tired of her. Again, what she did to them last year, and the refs got a long memory, bro. We kind of think they forget. You're talking smack to them. You think, well, and then if you talk to one of them that way, the rest of them are going to kind of pick up on what you're doing. And again, when she put her hand and shoved a rep, and the limb almost fell over and nothing was said. Come on.
Yeah.
I can't believe, I gotta believe in the off season, they made a point to say, you know what, we're not tolerating this anymore from her. I think they'd probably rather lose their jobs than allow them to be bullied anymore by Donna Taurasi. So the coach is way off in saying that.
Right. Ice, your first question.
Yeah, my first question is this NIL is way over the top. We don't know where the hell it's going, but when it hits home, you kind of make you pay attention. Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud signed a deal with a local Canton, Ohio dealership, and they do a lot of luxury cars. So he got a used car. Used cars worth $150,000. A Bentley was a Bottega, $150,000 car that he got as part of his deal, and he'll be driving that this year for as far as part of his NIL deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, Black, how you gonna afford to put gas in that?
Your thoughts.
Black.
Wait, who's the person?
The Ohio State quarterback, CJ Stroud.
The brother, the young brother, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure, I heard. Hey, man, I'll say this. It's going to seem wild and crazy with some of the deals that come out. But realistically, man, they're so far behind the E when it comes down to what they should have been getting over the years. Let them have it, bro. Let them have the car. Let it look crazy with the case, because they've been, for the other players that couldn't do it, let it be elaborate for them. And that's why I look at it. Is it too much? Absolutely. But you know what? That cat went out there last year and he balled, bro. And if someone is in that state, wants to basically tend to him and help him out, help his family out, whatever the case, I got no problem with it, bro. Because for years, man, they didn't care. NCAA, these colleges didn't care. When you have players basically up here at UConn, ex-basketball players, they went on to basically win championships for UConn, tell you they're going to bed, they went to bed hungry at night at school. I'm sorry, bro. Let them drive a tractor trailer to college if they want to give it to them. I'm serious, man. It's just the way they abuse these kids, bro, for years. I mean, I say abused, and made the money off their hard, bro. I mean, their sweat and tears. I don't care what he's driving, man. More power to him, yes. Now, I'd rather see more kids driving around with it that deserve it. Let them get it. Why not? It is what it is, because it's only making up for what they lack for the past 30, 40 seasons.
Black, how many times do you think he gonna cruise around campus with that Bentley before he had to go to the gas station?
I think after the first time, unless there's a station out there in Ohio that's going to offend him, basically get that old football coach, take him out of the strip club, maybe buy him some gas. Who knows?
It's gonna be buck wild. I anticipate maybe 4 to 5 years down the road, they're going to try to regulate this some kind of way. But right now, I mean, this is the sign of the times. This is what the players, and this is where we are right now. For years, I've been fighting for these players to get some kind of compensation. But I think it's going to get to a point where some players are going to maybe feel some type of way, them not getting some of these deals that some of the star players are getting. And that may cause some conflict within the team, and maybe that turns into losses instead of wins and instead of elite programs. So I think there are going to be a lot of players who are going to try to find their own deals and not go to these bigger schools, go where they're going to get paid. And this may be the parity that Nick Saban has been talking about, that people are going to go where they get paid, and this is going to maybe hurt college football as far as the play. Do I want the players to get compensated? Of course I do. But some way, somehow, maybe in the next 5 years, it has to be regulated some kind of way in order for it to, for it to really pan out. Because I can see this really going crazy.
Just 1 second, Ice. Don't regulate it, man. Because they've proven they can't regulate it fairly, bro.
Yeah, they can't.
What you said there, to me, made a lot. That's what Nick Saban is scared of. It's not talking about. He's scared of, because what's going to start happening is the players that would have normally went to Nick Saban, they're going to go to wherever basically suit their pockets, and that's where they're going to play. Because if you're good enough to go to NFL, you can play in your backyard, bro. They're going to find you. They're going to find you. These kids are realizing that now, so I don't have to go to Alabama anymore to get here. I can go here and make this type of money and still get there.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. NFL is going to, not NFL, college football is going to bounce like this.
Yeah.
Some teams that we never, Appalachian State.
So Ice, you're going to answer the question, but also please indulge me. How many times can he go around the Columbus campus before he has to go to gas station?
Well, you know, the Columbus campus is not that big. People think it is. I mean, it's big as far as where you can drive to. The land mass is huge. You're not doing a lot of driving. You got to do a lot of stopping from that standpoint. So you might have, if you have a little time to move around. But here's the thing: what I find crazy is you mentioned about Saban. Saban's team right now, their players are still getting all the majority of the money, right? Saban, again, as I said before, their issue is the fact that he's not going to be able to stockpile players like he did and had that depth. So now you're going to be playing, your ones and twos are going to be playing against quality teams all the way through that can match you the whole way. But this thing about this Stroud thing, it blew me away because I'm like, a Bentley, and you accepting the Bentley and everything, $150,000. And that just tells you I'm getting old. You guys aren't getting old. I'm getting old. Because the first thing of what I thought about where I came from was like, okay, that's cool and all, but let's keep this for about 3 months. Let everybody be cool and let everything go down. And I'm calling the dealership going like, look, I need y'all to go ahead and put this on the market and sell it for me so I can pocket this cash. That's my mindset already. Because all I need is a truck, right? And a little vehicle. I mean, I'm in college. I don't need a Bentley for it. So I'm going to take the Bentley and I'm going to have y'all in 3 months going to sell it. You know what to do in my offshore account, wherever the hell it is. Drop that coin to my baby mama's name or whatever you need to do so I can sell it. And just give me a damn truck. Because I mean, what I need a Bentley for on campus?
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about our small campus. There's no way you can keep a Bentley on that campus.
When I first heard it, I was like, oh, he ain't keeping that. He gonna sell that. First thing came to my mind was, you got to get that cash, brother. Get the cash. Get the cash. Keep it for 3, whatever they need you to do so you can make appearances and put that mug on the market, bro. Go and get your money, bro. If it's legal, get your money. Bentley, well, who cares? You ain't even, I mean, what you gonna be doing? You go home, show everybody else. You can take, okay, here's what I'm saying. Take 2 weeks, go home, show everybody, you showing off, take pictures, you know how you doing everything. Go, bring your people in from California, let them do whatever. And then after you get through all the pictures, it's gonna take you about 2 weeks. Put that mug on the market, bro. You don't need that vehicle, man. It ain't that important, bro. You got much money. You know how much more money you can do with other stuff? You got all kinds of things you can do. Get your money, bro.
And you're an athlete. You're being driven everywhere. I mean,
they're taking care of you, brother. Do not be falling into that trap. Sell a vehicle if they allow you to. Sell it. Yeah. That's not allegedly. Sell a damn vehicle, bro. Get your money.
Like your question, man.
It's interesting because NBA contract, their collective bargaining agreement contract ends in a year. So they're kind of talking, and some stuff came out I found to be interesting. The commissioner basically wants to shorten the season. He wants to do a mid-season tournament. And I guess when shorten the season, the money they lose from that, the tournament will basically be sponsored, and they'll make up the money there. I want to get you guys' opinion on the idea behind that.
Ice?
I mean, they're saying dropping the season like 70 games, something like that. I think I heard. Is that what about it? About 70? Mm-hmm. 70 games, and then you have an in season tournament. It might not be bad. I mean, I know the purists are gonna go, "Oh my God, you don't mess with the whatever, man, whatever. Get over that." Yeah, people didn't like the playoffs, right? They didn't like the play-in games either. I think it brings a lot to the table. I could be open to it. Some of the veterans won't like it because they don't want to do in the play-in games, but there have been some young guys that will come in and go, another way to make more cash and do what you got to do. We need something. Because I'm telling y'all, if I watch another damn bag dunk contest, I'm going to be mad as hell. With the real ballers in there that really can do the thing. So give me something back. And maybe this will be another way. So shorten the season. That way you get them off their legs. Like you said, you have an in-game tournament, in-season tournament, and let them do what they have to do. But I mean, whatever, man. It's going to come to a head. They're going to make some changes anyway. That's what they want to do. 12 games is not going to make a difference. As long as you do not take away the play-in tournament. I think they made a good decision. Make teams rise up. If you're not ready, go home.
I'm all for it. A buddy of mine who is a Golden State Warrior fan, he texted me last night and he's like, who you got? And I said, I don't care. I just want it to be over. The season's too long. I just want it to be over, man. I have no dog in the race. I really don't even care who wins the series. I just want it to be over because the NBA season is too long. And even the finals, you have one game maybe the first game was last Thursday. Then they moved the next game to Sunday. Now we're here on Wednesday and they're having another game. It's like, why are you stretching this out? Just be done with it. Just be done with it. And so I'm all for 70 games, mid-season tournament. As long as it's over, I'm done. I'm good. I'm good. Adam Silver, do it. Do it now, because the way this 82 game, I mean, we all know who are playoff teams and who are not by the end of 70 games. We all know it. The 12 games are like to get the 10-day players and all that, the rest of the players. Just do it, man. Hopefully it'll eliminate some of this, this management, where guys are taking breaks during the season, So if it takes away that, it makes some more excitement. It can make money in a mid-season tournament to get people excited. Hopefully that tournament is not during the college tournament, because I ain't watching. But as long as you can shorten the season up, maybe baseball take this idea too. Shorten the season. It's too long. Black?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I do. I think the season definitely be shortened. And I think you were on touching a good point about the load management. I think it's going to help that. And I think the mid-season tournament will basically make it more competitive for teams that want to try to play harder, because I think what's happening now when the season is so long, teams that don't feel they have a shot halfway through the season, not playing that hard. I mean, they're just showing up and then into it. So it makes for bad basketball all the way around. So I kudos to the commissioner for thinking about ways to kind of keep the game exciting and bring some more excitement to it. And to me, 70, I'll go 65, 66. I'll drop it down a little bit more, because I remember the year that they had a shortened season with the strike. That was some of the best basketball season, man. That was when people came back off that strike. Every game mattered. People played hard. It was more competitive basketball.
Yeah, I got a question I'm gonna throw in, and I'll throw it back to you guys. Drew Brees is leaving NBC. You think he might end up with the Seahawks? Black?
He got fired. He ain't leaving.
Yeah, I know.
Fired. Let's be honest. He got fired.
I try to be nice.
Bro, Drew Brees can't throw the ball past 10 yards. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere, bro. He tried to act like he came back to New Orleans, and the coach said, I like what the coach said. Yeah, he said that in jest, but no, we're good. No, bro. I mean, I know a lot of these quarterbacks looking at Tom Brady being 45, 48, whatever, thinking that they can roll back out this, no big deal. Drew Brees, you're lucky that you basically held on as long as you did. Let's be honest, bro. You're very lucky. So no, you couldn't cut it in television. You say you got other things to do, go do them. Obviously, you ain't got nothing else better to do. Go do it. Go do what you got to do. I mean, you got fired, bro. NBC, I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad, but they fired you after 1 year.
I never really paid attention to him, so
fired.
I didn't know what he was doing there.
You're fired.
Maybe
1 year.
Maybe the Seahawks give Drew Brees a call.
I mean, they waiting on Baker Mayfield anyway. They waiting on the price to be right for Baker Mayfield. And like you said, if he can't throw the ball 10, 20 yards, he definitely couldn't go back to New Orleans. Remember, New Orleans' new coach was like, he told the quarterback Hill, if you go be on this team, you ain't playing quarterback. You're an emergency quarterback. When we have nobody else, you about fourth string. We're not doing that anymore. So we ain't bringing you in. We ain't running no packages for you. We ain't running a wildcat for you. You are what you doing is you're gonna learn how to be a running back and a receiver. Really be a receiver. That's what you're gonna learn to do. We don't need you for that. We got quarterbacks now, so we're not experimenting anymore. So I think Drew Brees he needs to just go and relax, find something else to do, pick up fishing or whatever, do something else. Had to be something else since he cannot play football, like you said. In the NFL, if you can't throw the football, you're not gonna get another opportunity. So you could go into coaching. He could do a lot of different things, but whatever it is, good luck, bro. But come on.
Maybe you should take a knee when he had an opportunity. When things be working out a little better for him.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets into like a player coach kind of thing with if some team pick him up just to coach up the newer talent and quarterbacks. But yeah, for me, I don't think, I saw him in his last season. He could not get the ball down the field. And unless something changes, I don't see him in the NFL. But it seems like he's just lining up to try to make that comeback. And it just seems he's appearing to do that with the tweets and all that other stuff. Ice, your question? Another question?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say this, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Anyway, NBA. When I was watching this last series with the Dallas Mavericks, there were a lot of comparisons to Luka Doncic to Larry Bird. And I said to myself, how in the hell can you be that disrespectful? But then maybe I'm wrong. Your thoughts on the comparison of Luka Doncic to Larry Bird in regards to being greatness and legendary and all that?
Black?
Yeah, I think it is disrespectful, man. I've seen people call him Baby Bird or whatever. Other than being white, there's no comparison, bro. And if somebody to me, when you compare somebody, it should not be based on the color of their skin. It should be it should be based on what they're doing within their sport. And he ain't not even close to being Larry Bird. And I think it's disrespectful. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a good player. I'll give that to him. But Larry Bird, he's not. I'm gonna tell you, there's two players that I didn't like watching, but I respect watching. Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. Because you put the ball in their hand, it was something else, bro. They just were. Larry Bird would drain a J in front of you and basically spit on you going down there to the court. And then come back and play defense on you and come back and J on you again and may talk about your mama go back down there to the court. Now, I'm not saying the trash truck and all that Luka has to be, but all this Larry Bird game in general, the way he played defense, the way he motivated the team, the way he would take over a game. It's nothing with Luka. And that's what I find now with the younger crowd and some of the commentators. Shannon Sharp, I love you, bro, but I find that with you too now, you're enamored too much what's going on today without really respecting what went on in the past. And what went on in the past laid the foundation for today. And to me, what Larry Bird and Magic Johnson did for the league, to me, don't ever compare anyone to them two. Because I remember when those two started playing, those tape delayed games. Tape delayed. We used to watch the games at midnight until those two decided to start playing NBA basketball. So no, you can't, man. That's like, it's totally disrespectful. Look at him because, let's face it, it's dominated by us. So when a white cat comes out that looks, plays well, he has to be the next Larry Bird. No. It could be a black player that can play good as Larry Bird, but it's just not based on color, as far as I'm concerned. That is disrespectful.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm not a big fan of Larry Bird, but I respected his game. If you want to look and make comparisons, I urge people to go to YouTube and just pull out some Larry Bird games. Go to college, go to the professional games, and you tell me whether or not Luka Doncic can compare to what you see on that video. The video don't lie with Larry Bird. Larry Bird was a problem. Anybody who could tell you what he's going to do with you, with the ball, and then just go out and do it. I heard Mashburn was talking about this on a podcast not too long ago. And he was saying when the U.S. Olympic team got together, the Dream Team got together, college players went up there and they were beating them. And then one guy said something to Larry Bird. I forget who said it. It was a power forward out of college. And he said, Larry Bird, you haven't hit a shot since 1984. And he said the very next game, Magic Johnson must have fed Larry Bird the ball like 8 or 9 times. He was just sinking threes. And then he looked to the guy. I think the guy was Rodney Rogers, I believe. And he said, hey, young fella, kind of looks like 1984, doesn't it? But what you don't have to, because I didn't like some of the players that, especially my teams were playing against, but you had to respect them. You had to respect him, and you were sitting on the edge of your seat in any game. And I ain't do that with Dallas with Doncic. You were sitting on the edge of your seat because you knew that if the Boston Celtics, if the game was on the line, Larry Bird was going to get the ball, same as Michael Jordan's going to get the ball, and you're screaming, "Get him, guard him!" like you're at the game, but there was nothing you could do about it. They had that killer instinct where I don't know if Larry Bird could ever play for any other team but the Boston Celtics. He fit that team perfectly. The way they, Red Auerbach, he personified what a Celtic was. So, Ice.
Yeah, when I hear that, that just makes me cringe because I've been watching Larry Bird when he was at Indiana State, and I liked him then because it was just him, and he's playing with a team that really wasn't the greatest talent wise, but they beat a lot of good teams. I mean, they just fell short against a loaded Magic Johnson team in Michigan State. He knew it was just a matter of time before he took that next step. When he got to the league, he had to back off of him because he went to Boston, but I still admired him from afar. And and also the one thing I like about Larry Bird, along with his grittiness and being tough. Ask Dominique Wilkins. Dominique always wanted to get over the hump with the Boston, with Atlanta, and all of the tree riders and the round trees and all the moves they made to try to get over the hump. And Boston was just so damn good. And Larry Bird was in the center of that, man. And when you think about Luka doing some things and scoring a lot of points, but the team's not winning, Larry Bird was the heart and soul of the Boston Celtics. And when you think about how he played, he also knew his place, man. And what I say by that is not saying he had to, he owed anybody anything, but he knew the space he was in. Larry Bird knew that the African-American players, it was their league. He knew they dominated. He knew they were the best players. And he said that. There's a lot of people off when he said that. He said, I don't say I'm the best player. Basically saying, I know I'm the best white player. And that's all it was. He said, because I knew there's no white guy could check me. He said, you bring a white guy here, I'm like, you disrespecting me. Because he knew that. He knew that African-American players were the best players. They were the best athletes. He had no problem with it. He never said, I'm this and that. Even when Dennis Rodman and Isaiah came for him, you didn't hear him saying that. He just said, you know what, all right, that's what y'all think. That's cool. But I'm in my space. And that's who he was. And to this day, that's who he is. He just let you know, you're going to throw race on it. I'm that dude. And I dare you put a white boy on me because ain't no white boy can check me.
Yeah. You just get mad when that would happen. He would get mad. Last question, man.
Ooh, I don't know if you guys caught this, man. It was 5 players from the Tampa Bay, what's the name of the baseball? Tampa Bay Rays. They the team decided to put the pride emblem on their baseball jersey, and 5 players chose not to wear it. Said, we're not wearing that. So it didn't make big splash, but I want to get your guys' impression, an idea what you think about the Tampa Bay Rays basically putting that on their jersey. And the 5 cats, they said, you know what, I'm not walking out with that on.
Ice?
I'm going to say this, man. This might get me in trouble, but I'm going to say it anyway. People have a right to do a lot of different things, right? What that represents is, it's not that you don't like people or whatever, or you're against anything, but to wear that symbol, it's one thing, and people have different religious views or whatever they may have. I'm not saying they're correct, because it's freedom of speech, freedom of right to do whatever you want to do, but to make a guy have to wear an emblem, the fact that you're out there engaging or whatever is one thing, but you forcing it on somebody, I'm not sure if I really agree with that, and that's just that standpoint of that. So the fact that they did it, I think that it's, they're right. There are also 2 people, let's keep this 100. When certain people was kneeling, they were standing. That's what they did. It wasn't no bill. They made it okay, it was what it was. And that's my right as an American. Why can't it be my right as an American? If I'm not really down with that, I do what I do. I hate you. That's just not my cup of tea. I think that you can't change the rights of what people believe, whatever this freedom of speech or this freedom of privilege of rights in America works for some, but it don't work for others. It has to be a certain way for other people.
Yeah, I agree. You just can't force people to do certain things that, I know the league wants to, embrace, certain populations. That's all well and good, but you just can't force people to do certain things, especially if it's not really related to baseball or related to the game. I can't say more than what I said with this, but yeah, it's almost like you're trying to force people to kind of do certain things and represent certain things. So if the league wants to do that, that's fine. But these players said, you know what? That's not where I am. Not that I hate people. Do they still do the breast cancer, the pink stuff in the NFL? I never liked that. We've been wearing pink cleats and pink socks and pink headbands and wristbands. Okay, have a little emblem if people want to have that, but You know, even though my mother died of breast cancer, it doesn't really make a difference in whether you wear pink that month or whatever. It's just, you know, it's people's choice. Black.
Yeah, the pink is a little different. I say mainly because they got paid to wear that, bro. NFL don't have you wearing nothing on
Probably,
your
yeah.
face. Let's keep it real because NFL got paid and probably still do to do the national anthem, have the planes fly over and all that stuff. So they act like they're patriotic, but at the end of the day, it's all about the business. No, kudos to the guys that say, no, I'm not walking out with this. I'm not. I mean, I'm not surprised, but what kind of I know I spoke of kneeling. I wonder if they had a Black Lives Matter thing. Would they put that on play? Would these white guys would have been obligated? I doubt it. You wouldn't even think of it. So as a team, why think of it because there's whatever month to stick that on and want players to wear it? No, I'm glad they stood up and said no. I mean, like you said, I may not like you, I may not hate you, but I don't have to basically walk out and kind of show support to you. So no, I think that was cool. I think that was cool because you should not force something on someone. That's your view. That's your view. That's your personal view. It doesn't have to be forced onto you.
I wonder how many NFL players wore on their helmet erase racism and all that. I'm pretty sure some of them didn't put that on their helmet or did not, kind of, embrace that. So I wonder about that too. Ice, your last second shot.
Your last second shot is totally different. Women's World Series in softball, right, has Oklahoma #1 team, the 57-3 defending champions, 5-time national champions. They're considered the decade's most dominant team. They've been in this national championship game 7 of the last 10 years. And they're playing Texas, a team that is kind of like in their league. They faced them before, like 4 times this year. Texas beat them once. Texas is the first unseeded team to reach the finals, right? First unseeded team. And they're 4-1 going to the World Series. I think they're playing tonight, but it's like David and Goliath, big bad Oklahoma versus unseeded Texas. And I always like the Women's World Series of softball. Gets a lot of big ratings. The women are very talented, a lot of home runs, seems like a lot of juice on the ball. So I think they play tonight. Catch one of those games, it'll be something fun to watch and a lot of participation in watching those games.
Actually, I'm watching that as opposed to watching the NBA finals. I'll wait till the third, fourth quarter to watch that. Black?
That's my man. Always doing protests some form somehow, bro. My last second shot, I'm going to go right back to the Tampa Bay Rays, man. For the players that basically said, no, we're not going to put that on. We're not going to wear that. And they even say why. They say we're not putting it on because at some point you must stand for something. And we have to be aware and understand sometimes people have agendas that they're trying to push. And if you're not really paying attention, you're pushing their agenda without even noticing. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears clearing, and keep them paying attention because stand for what you stand for. Don't stand for the nonsense.
My last second shot is about LeBron James becoming a billionaire, active player, billionaire. And Ice suggested this documentary years ago to me called More Than a Game with LeBron James. And those of you who haven't seen it, check it out because it shows you where that guy came from and where he is today. And love him or hate him, you just have an appreciation of watching that documentary of where he came from, what he had to go through to get to be the person and the man he is today. That's our show. We'll see you next week.